Yemen Conflict, Part 3. The conflict has pushed Yemen to brink of famine. Nearly 2.2 million Yemeni children are acutely malnourished, and about 70% of the population requires some form of humanitarian aid, according to UNICEF. Today, more than half of the population is food insecure. UN figures estimate that over 10,000 civilians have died from the fighting, while many more have died from indirect results of the conflicts, such as preventable diseases. The severity of the crisis varies across the country. Among the worst affected are two of the poorest provinces, Al-Hudaydah and Taiz. The latter has seen some of the worst fighting as the Houthis and their allies have laid siege to the city. Meanwhile, in the Houthis' native province of Sada, much of the infrastructure has been severely damaged by airstrikes. Yemen's government has long relied on its declining oil and gas resources for revenues, and while the bulk of resources were located in the central and eastern provinces of Marib, Shuaba, and Hadar al-Maut. The profits went to Sana'a-based elites. The Houthis seized some of the fields early in the conflict, but were subsequently displaced by the forces loyal to internationally recognized government over the course of 2015. The Southern Movement. Yemen South, which was independent until 1990, had unsuccessfully attempted to secede from the United Yemen in 1994. Tensions gradually mounted thereafter until the emergence of the Southern Movement, an umbrella of factions and figures calling for autonomy for the South in 2007. The Southern Movement initially was most active in the mountainous areas of Yafa, Al-Dahil, and Radfan. The network built up further support because the government in Sana'a ignored their demands, although the movement remained divided in terms of organization, strategy, leadership, and ultimate aims. It benefited from backing given by the Gulf states to anti-Houthi factions. Fighters allied to the Southern Movement are now the dominant force in much of the South. Federal division. Proposals for a federal system of governance in Yemen have long been in circulation, both in the aftermath of unification and following Yemen's 1994 civil war. They picked up considerably steam following the emergence in 2007. The Southern Movement, they picked up the considerable steam following the emergence of 2007 of the Southern Movement. A federal division of Yemen was finally agreed in February 2014 by a subcommittee in Yemen's National Dialogue Conference. This was an ambitious summit which aimed to pave the way for drafting of a new constitution. The proposal was accepted by most of the country's political players. However, the Houthis expressed reservations about the final divisions, and some factions of the Southern Movement opposed the split of the former PDRY into two federal regions. The nominally implemented federal division splits Yemen into 6 regions: Hadar al-Maut, Mahra, Shabwa are the provinces of the first part, which is known as Hadar al-Maut. Then the second part is called Aden. It has got Abiyan, Lahaj, Al-Dahil, and Aden, the provinces. Then the third part is Al-Janad. It has the provinces of Ib and province of Taiz. The fourth part is called Sabah, and it has the province of Marib and the province of Al-Jawf and the province of Al-Baida. The fifth part is called Tehama. It has the province of Al-Hudaydah, Rama, Moit, and Hajjah. They are the names of the provinces. And the sixth and the last part is called Azal. And Azal has got the province of Dama, Sana, Amiran, Sada. However, the precise nature of the devolution of powers remains unclear. And then very recently now, Saudi has taken away their influence on Yemen, which has led to peace in Yemen. And it has been the Saudi influence which has made the situation worse everywhere in the Arabian Peninsula. It were the Saudis to be blamed for the problems, troubles, and conflicts in Syria. And Saudis are to be blamed for the conflict in Yemen and elsewhere. And the conditions were so bad in Yemen that there were humanitarian crisis, and it was only just for the sake of political influence to be exercised by the Saudis. And now when the Saudis in 2023 have learned to have peace on the borders, they have provided the same situations to the Yemenis as well. That's all for the day.